Hi, everybody. I'm incredibly excited to be here today to tell you about my experience as a fellow, as a FLIA fellow working with Start Lighthouse. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Okay. Okay. So for the fall 2022 cohort, I was a programming fellow for Start Lighthouse. A little bit about me. I'm a Latina artist born and raised in New York City, and I have worked with many marginalized communities, including immigrants, child abuse survivors, low-income students, and women. I am very passionate about literature, art, and bringing resources and opportunities to underserved communities. Before the fellowship, pre-fellowship, I worked as a case manager for an adult English as a second language learning program with the Brooklyn Public Library. That was an incredible opportunity for me. I got to work with so many people from all over the world, and I helped them navigate their journey while they were taking classes with us, and I helped them plan for their future after they were done with our program, like seeking higher learning opportunities and career opportunities. And during that time, my list of resources grew exponentially. And a lot of those resources, I still refer many people that I work with today. I'm also a member of the Mil Mundos Colectiva, which is a nonprofit that operates out of a bookstore, and we bring access to essential goods like clothing and food and diapers. And we do so many workshops and a lot of really great programming. And we also have some Colectiva members who work with NYC Mesh, bringing free access to internet to many households. I also worked with, as a volunteer case manager with the New York Abortion Access Fund. I'm also an artist and photographer, and I had some of my work part of a couple exhibits. My very first work that was a part of an exhibit was a portrait that I took of my grandfather, who played a very big role in the person that I am today. So that was an incredibly proud moment for me. And I was also a visual arts instructor. So I was working with Start Lighthouse, and our tagline is literacy and destiny should not be defined by race or zip code. It's an amazing nonprofit that works towards bridging the literacy gap in schools in the Bronx and bringing access to books to children. We offer like literary adventures, workshops where we have author visits. They come do read alouds and do activities with the children. We have book clubs and so many amazing things that we did that I was a part of. This picture here was the very first book launch that we had at the Literacy Hub, and it was a really meaningful moment for me. It was Jamila Tompkins Bigelow, and she launched her book, Hold Them Close, a love letter to Black children. And during the read aloud, there was a moment that she had the children chant, "I matter." And I think in that moment, I just had like an epiphany, and I'd realized like I'm where I'm meant to be, and I want to continue down this path. And this is one of our amazing members of the third grade book club, Prince, and he quickly became one of my favorites, a very vibrant personality, and always made, being in the Literacy Hub really, really a fun experience. And actually, I started with Start Lighthouse a week after they opened up the very first physical space. They reactivated an abandoned library in a PS5, a school in the Bronx, and brought in a huge array of books by BIPOC authors. And it was just, I remember the first time I walked in as a childhood bookworm, I felt like a little kid in a candy store. It was just amazing. So a little bit about my role as a programming fellow. I manage the library inventory and research new titles. I've developed the curriculum for literary workshops. I facilitated literary workshops, implementing the curriculum that I was developing. I facilitated 3rd and 6th grade book clubs, designed materials for social media posts, engaged in community outreach for the L'Oreal Women of Worth campaign. Our amazing co-founder, Rena, was one of the 2022 Women of Worth, and we had the opportunity to we were in the running to win $25,000 towards our programming, and I helped with developing the materials and campaigning for that. And I also liaised with authors and artists for upcoming literary adventures, workshops, and sent out and kept contracts and agreements up to date. It was a really amazing experience because we were a small team. It was just the co-founders, Conchetta and Rena, and myself. And I really got to get an inside look on the ins and outs of running a nonprofit, and I learned so much. So during my time with Start Lighthouse, I worked with 700 students, 65% of the population being Spanish-speaking students, and many of which were asylum seekers. We distributed 1,200 books for student home libraries. I facilitated 20 literary adventure workshops, and we had 7 author visits during that time. So some of the project outcomes, I created an activity bank with engaging bilingual curriculum for grades K through 8, introduce a new library management resource, which is going to make a huge difference in the new year with the management of the inventory and also the shopping experience. And some of the long-term goals are students will have improved reading levels and students will be able to pursue higher education. So it's been known that if students do not learn how to read by the 4th grade, they're more likely to drop out later on in school. And I think that this program is making a meaningful impact towards breaking the school to prison pipeline. So these are some images of some of the author visits that we had. We had Luz Maria Mack, and she read The Secret of the Plátanos with our students. We had the amazing poet Nonico Ramos, and she had her book Beauty Woke. And we had Cassie Gonzalez, who is an artist and illustrator and book designer, and she definitely talked to our middle grade students and introduced a career pathway. It was a very exciting workshop. A lot of our middle grade students love that. So some of my plans post-fellowship, what I'm going to be doing. I am working towards starting my own arts education nonprofit, and I plan to continue working with nonprofits. I am going to be working with Mil Mundos and the New York Abortion Access Fund. And of course, I would love to continue my relationship with Start Lighthouse. I think there's so much more left to be done, and I'm excited to see where we go with it. And I'm going to be researching master's programs and working on building my portfolio and my website. And I'm going to continue developing my design skills and my language skills. I'm currently working towards becoming a polyglot. I'm on my 4th language, so I'm excited about that. And finally, I would just like to say thank you. Thank you to Flia for this wonderful opportunity. Millie, thank you for seeing me and believing in me. I am forever grateful for this opportunity. I think it opened a lot of doorways for me, and thank you for the facilitators. I learned so much during this experience. Thank you, Serena and Conchetta. You were amazing leaders, and you gave me a space to grow and learn, and I'm so grateful to you both. And thank you to the cohort. It was incredibly empowering and wonderful to be with so many brilliant women, and also my family and friends. I feel like I was very fortunate. I had an amazing support, a little village that supported me through this process, and I am so excited to see what's next. So thank you very much.
Big round of applause. Aura, so proud of you. Thank you for an incredible presentation. Thank you for starting off this event in such a great way. Any comments, feedback? I feel like I want to cry, so I'm gonna open up space for others who have any questions or anything they want to share, any thoughts they want to share with Aura.
I'll jump in just as one of her direct supervisors. It's just been incredible just to see the evolution that's taken place in just a short few months. She has completely transformed, and just she's become such a big part of our team too, in terms of just the ways that she's able to step up for any given task, and the way that our students respond to her is just it's remarkable. And she's really made space for our students that are bilingual and also asylum seekers, because we, as she mentioned, we had like a recent influx, and even for some of these students, they've never stepped foot into a school before, they've never held a pencil, and the way that she makes these students feel seen and heard and just make space for them, it's remarkable. And we're just so lucky. We're so grateful for this partnership and just to have had Aura part of our team.
Thank you, Rena, for that. We feel so lucky for our partnership as well. Thank you so much. For the sake of time, I'm going to move us along. If there's any questions or feedback, we can circle back at the end, or you can enter it into the chat. But next up, we're going to have Carina, who is going to share more about her experience working with Can Play.
Hi, everybody. I am going to share my screen real quick. All right, awesome. Hi, my name is Carina Keokham, and I just want to first and foremost thank you all for taking the time to being here. And as you've already heard from Aura, this cohort has done some amazing things during this short amount of time, and I personally am just super excited to share with you guys a little bit about myself and what I've been doing here these last couple months. So as I've said, my name is Carina, and I'm a special events fellow here with FLIA and with my partner organization Can Play in Des Moines, Iowa. Just one second. So just a little about myself. I graduated from University in Storm Lake, Iowa this past May with a degree in communications and business. And growing up, I had a very business entrepreneurial background, as my family owned a number of small businesses throughout Northwest Iowa. And although that's something that I was familiar with, it wasn't necessarily something that I was passionate about. And it wasn't until I was introduced into the social sector and the world of social justice where I quickly realized that I knew this was something that I wanted to spend the rest of my life's work doing. And I became really passionate about it. So in college, I decided to major in communications, and it quickly became something that I enjoyed. Being able to learn about interpersonal communication and relationships, it allowed me to strategically communicate from a business standpoint, but also be able to cultivate and maintain relationships with people that I've met throughout my journey thus far. And during my time at BVU, I had the opportunity to intern with Center of Diversity and Inclusion on my campus. My mentor is Dr. Joel Barron. Thank you for being here, Dr. Joel, by the way. And Joanna Chavez de Leon gave me the reins to really take their visions and their ideas and turn them into reality. And while I was there, I was able to plan and market 5 events during the fall of 2021, including a Diversity and Inclusion Week, which was a week-long event highlighting our campus's multicultural organizations, as well as other diversity celebrations that were open to the community as well. And during my time there, I was also offered to be the academic assistant to Dr. Dixie Bartholomew Feist, who is the Dean of School of Liberal Arts at BV, where I was able to help her plan and organize a larger scale campus and community-wide events. And one event that was really rewarding to me was our Artist in Residency Week, where we hosted BVU alum Andre D. Wegner, who's pictured in the corner up there, who was BVU alum and is also a well-known New York City photographer. So it was super amazing for my university to be able to trust me in helping to organize this amazing, huge event, and also meeting somebody like Andre, who graduated from small town Iowa just like me and is able to do amazing things and be able to photograph celebrities and be able to tell amazing stories like he is now. And after I received my degree, I was offered a contract with Dr. Feist, where I was able to use my skills in graphic design and create visuals, highlighting our diverse community resource in Storm Lake to incoming freshman students. And this was my first real college job after graduation. But even after receiving my degree and given the amazing opportunities I had prior, I still wasn't 100% confident about my ability to obtain a full-time job. As a first-generation college graduate and a first-gen American, I felt like I wasn't really given the same tools and opportunities as a lot of my peers attending a PWI. And even after receiving guidance from my school's career services and my mentors prior, I was not yet comfortable with finding a full-time job, knowing that I needed to better hone into some hard skills that would make me an even better candidate for the jobs that I was looking for. And as I was starting to lose hope during my job application process, I had an email from FLIA. And not knowing what I was getting myself into, I decided to proceed with an interview with Millie. And I think after our first interaction, Millie, with you and Diamond, I just knew that FLIA's mission and just FLIA staff was the perfect opportunity for me to be able to take my first step into my professional journey. And I got the gig, thankfully, and I'm super grateful for that. I was introduced to my partner, CanPlay. And CanPlay is a nonprofit organization in Des Moines, Iowa, whose mission is to bring adapted and no-cost recreational programs to communities across central Iowa by removing barriers to play. And during our first week at CanPlay, as a special events fellow, I automatically had to perform my tasks for our Big Game for Good event that literally took place during our first week there. So it was super crazy, but I was able to use my conflict management skills and my prior event planning skills to help my supervisor, Dylan, to execute this event. And I think it was very inspirational to see CanPlay's mission and everything being put into play, and really just getting to know the organization and just during the beginning of our fellowship. And it made things a lot easier moving forward to, work with CanPlay and everything that I had to do throughout the last couple of months. So after finishing Game for Good, the next part of my main project was planning another big event, Jean Jackets and Jams, on November 17th. And my tasks from start to finish included sending out invitations, keeping track of RSVPs, creating silent auction items that would be donated to, the proceeds would be donated to our CanPlay programs, creating social media marketing, creating visuals for the event, organizing physical items, making sure that other staff members were in the loop of, what needed to be done, and then the final execution of the event, which was the fun part, where we basically had to make sure that guests were entertained, and I was able to use my networking skills to meet other donors and stakeholders, and also just getting to know some amazing people who really just dedicate their time to this awesome mission, and ensuring that the evening ran smoothly. And overall, I would say the event showed in numbers, as you can see in the photo in the background. It was a successful event, and you could really tell in the numbers of, the proceeds that we were able to accumulate, and also the smiles of our attendees by the end of the night. We were able to raise from that one event a little over $45,000 with over 100 guests attending that evening. So our events have been super successful, and it's really amazing to be able to work from start to finish and see it come into fruition. And currently I am finishing up on our holiday giving campaign. This year it's called 12 Ways to Give Play, which was my idea. And I'm using my graphic design and marketing skills to create photo and video content for social media marketing, in hopes to receive donations and support for our programming throughout the month of December. So some high level accomplishments include introducing fresh and new ideas to already existing traditions during our events. And this really is just to be able to keep, because our donors are and our supporters are so loyal, and they continuously support us every year whenever they can. So I was really able to allow to share my ideas, and being able to, allow our donors and stakeholders to enjoy some new activities during, our successful events that everybody loves to attend yearly. Additionally, I was able to assist in organizing successful events with large number of donations. Like I said, Jeans, Jackets, and Jams was super successful, and our previous Giving Tuesday virtual event we raised almost $20,000, which is super amazing, and it's all really just due to our supporters and our ability to market these things in a very good manner. And lastly, I was able to implement new social media marketing tactics, including Instagram layout, themes, and introducing Canva to our CanPlay staff, and really just helping everybody be able to market what we do in a very efficient manner and a very fun manner. So like our social media is just super fresh and fun, and the marketing team and I have been able to really have some fun with the videos that we've been creating. So if you want to follow Can Play on Instagram and see what all the work we've been doing, it's been super fun. So the long-term impact that FLIA had on me, I've learned a tremendous amount of skills during my time with FLIA and Can Play. And some of the ones that I am most proud of are my professional communication, especially learning communication styles that are effective in terms of what I want to do and, my suggestions, and even just asking questions. I used to be so afraid to put myself out there and share my ideas and even just ask questions. Now it's not a problem. And additionally, I was further able to develop my hard skills using Google spreadsheets. These were things that I knew how to do, but wasn't 100% confident in doing. And I think I've quickly just become a better rounded young professional overall, as my time management skills and my prioritization skills have improved tremendously. And, these are all things, like I said, I'm now very confident in, and I can apply for jobs in the future and confidently say that I'm proficient in these things that I once was freaking out about because I didn't think I was a good enough candidate. And within my the short season of my life, I felt a great shift, both personally and professionally. I've gained confidence in myself as a professional, and I no longer have the excuse that I was not given the proper tools to be a successful professional, because I've learned so much from FLIA and Can Play. And my mentors at FLIA, Millie, and my amazing cohort who's been there to empower me, to support me, and even to give me advice, because they are all just strong, amazing women who I look up to so much, even as my peers. And after my time with FLIA is over, I plan on taking some time to explore my entrepreneurial interests and beginning my journey in freelancing as a digital marketer while applying for jobs in either digital marketing or HR. And the most rewarding part about the experience was realizing that these were all traits and skills that I've already had. And I just really needed the confidence to be able to do these things. And like I said many times before, I can do them now. And, that was like the most rewarding thing about my experience. And, I don't have to limit myself when it comes to getting what I want out of life. And because of FLIA, I can now go into the rest of my life with the confidence and doing whatever I desire, whether it's professionally or personally. And like I said, I can't thank everyone at FLIA enough. Thanks to my mentors and my amazing peers for empowering me. Thank you, Kirsten, for setting this all up. You're a huge inspiration. And it's just so amazing to be able to see people like me do the things that I didn't know was possible. And my ultimate goal in life really is to do similar work as FLIA and become a mentor to other first generation students from different backgrounds and identities, and give them the same empowerment that I've been able to receive. And like I said again, and this is the last time I'll say it, I can't say it enough. Really just thank you to all my peers and my mentors and everyone at Can Play and FLIA, and even beforehand, like Dr. Joel at BVU, for being able to set this foundation for me and empowering me, and just being able to learn about me, and me being able to learn about you. It's been amazing. And if we haven't met yet, I am super excited to get to know you all even better than what I've already known from our short time together. So please, let's connect. I'm super excited to see what the future holds for not only myself, but for the rest of my cohort. And yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome work, Carina. It has been really, really exciting to see you evolve as well throughout this fellowship. Excellent work. Any questions, feedback, or thoughts to share with Carina? Okay, we will.
I can talk real quick here. Sorry. Yeah, from the Can Play perspective, I know you brought it up in the presentation. We certainly threw you right in on the very first week. I warned you, but it also was super crazy just to say, here you go. We've got an event and you're helping us out with events. So let's get going. So you did an awesome job at adapting that first week. And then as we continued to, put more on your plate on the event side, that was, you always stepped up, you always delivered, and you always did a great job with everything we asked there. And then the thing that's impressed me in the past couple of weeks is when we kind of find out some of these skills that you continue to bring to us that we should have been using all along. So the graphic design, the social media, all the other things that we've kind of put you into that weren't totally on the event side of things. You did a little bit of it here and there, but really as we've kind of wound down our event season and transitioned into year-end stuff, you've shown once again a great adaptability in being able to take on new projects, new things, and succeed with everything there. So we kind of looked at some of the things you've created the past couple of weeks, and all throughout the office we just said, wow, this is really good, and you're really talented. So we appreciate what you brought to Can Play, and wish you all the best in the future. Thanks, Carina.
I want to say that I'm humbled and honored to even say that I was one of her supervisors, when she did her internship with us here at BVU, and to see this presentation. As you can see, she's already amazing, but in addition to that, she's humble. I mean, she's down to earth and so approachable, what I thought was pretty awesome, to have all these skill sets to be able to achieve all this and still be that. But she's also this transformational servant leader that, when she just kind of roll her sleeves up and get involved in everything that other groups are doing, and she was, and they respected her and they admired her for that, and we admired her for that. And so, in all of that, she was like a catalyst for growth and a catalyst for change for our department. And so it's like I learned more from her than she could ever possibly learn from me. And so I just want to say I appreciated it, and I'm glad that she's a part of this organization, and that she's able to thrive and to blossom like she truly deserves.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. And we're going to transition to our next fellow, Hasija, who is going to present about her time at Can Play. Hasija, passing the mic along to you.
I'll share the screen real quick. Thank you so much for introducing me. My name is Hasija. I was a licensing fellow at Can Play in collaboration with Future Leaders in Action. So I'll be focusing on my professional journey before, during, and after my fellowship here at Future Leaders in Action. Quick table of contents, I'll be going over an overview, my professional journey to FLIA, the first 6 weeks of my fellowship at Can Play, and then covering the retreat and how that was transformational myself. Second 6 weeks, then going back over my key deliverables, and then going over my post-fellowship immediate goals, as well as my long-term impact that I hope to achieve. Quick overview, like I said, before, during, and after my personal and professional journey, prior, during, and after Future Leaders in Action, as well as my fellowship. So my professional journey to FLIA, starting way back when, with high school and Central College, my first college I went to. I graduated from an inner city high school here in Des Moines, Roosevelt High School, and I had intention of going to medical field. And at the time, I was intending being a pediatric neurologist. And through accomplishing that, I knew that there's a lot of things that I couldn't achieve with my background and being disenfranchised in a way and not having these certain skills. So the way I could do that, I was like, I'm going to enlist in the National Guard. And after quite a bit of time in being part of that and making a strong personal decision to leave and get discharged, I had a very small frame of time in which I could actually enroll in college. And I had like a week and a half left before the fall semester would start. And I chose to go to Central College, which is a small rural private college that's in southeast Iowa, about 45 minutes away from Des Moines. And then COVID-19 happened my sophomore year, spring semester. And through quarantine and having a lot of self-reflection induced from being alone and not being like with my friends, I created all these connections I made through college. Like I was wondering, where do I go from here? I realized that I didn't really want to be in the medical field anymore, which is kind of ironic. I had so many lab experiences with COVID, with patients, with samples, with vaccines, and realizing that community was really important to me. I'm realizing how resources were crucial in a time of crisis, even before and after, and how the infrastructure is really what counts. And using those personal reflection moments, I decided to transfer to Arizona State and ended up relocating to Phoenix. Still majoring in biology, but with a focus in biology and society. It was more of a sociology-based focus. And having some more community-based lab experience rather than just pure lab experience. So I could really see my impact going forward through there. And then my senior year, I relocated back to Des Moines, and I just felt really lost in terms of what I wanted my career to look like. I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't really have an idea of what I did want. And then I discovered FLIA after sending out hundreds of applications to a wide variety of internships and job opportunities. I received 2 job offers, one for an AmeriCorps opportunity for forestry, and then I had one for Future Leaders in Action. Obviously, I chose this wonderful opportunity that I feel so blessed to have experienced. So in partnership with CamPlay, which was a nonprofit, as previously mentioned, we worked together in different ways. I was licensing fellow, she was marketing and events planning. So CamPlay is a nonprofit that provides sports recreation opportunities to 2 sections of youth within local community and within Greater Iowa as well. So there's Courage, which is special needs and disabled youth. And then there's Opportunity, which is low income and underprivileged youth. The first week jumping into the fellowship included one of the biggest fundraiser and charity events of the year, which is Game for Good. As Carina mentioned, is an exhibition baseball game that includes some participants from current programming. Then the other section for weeks 3 through 6, the other remaining weeks that first half, I was focusing on some of the project objectives I have listed here. So I was updating licensing curriculums to be updated and reformatted to ensure consistency of presentation, and developing some of those multi-tier licensing materials. I can see at the bottom, I have an example of one of the headliners from one of the presentations I created. So for each licensing curriculum, it would be a presentation of about 100 slides. Each slide was correlated to one Word document that had a practice drill on it. And this was one for basketball. And you can see one of the practice drills for basketball under passing with partner fundamentals. So this would contain equipment, coaches, instructions, a focus goal for every single practice instruction. I worked on this for about 6 weeks, and even recently I was still editing. So it's a really big part of my entire fellowship. Then jumping into the retreat, which was a really transformational experience for me. I think it came out of natural slump that we all come in the middle of a event or fellowship internship. And I think it came at a time that I was really like considering how I could connect all the soft and hard skills I had learned so far, as well as within the fellowship. How can I connect those things to what I want? How can I make this impact me long term? I learned so many new things, but I was struggling to make those connections. And through going through the retreat, seeing the expanse of Future Leaders in Actions, their network, and all the help that they gave us through networking, how to use LinkedIn, resumes and job applications, and some of the experiences we had, like going to the Met, seeing My Broken Language, which is a wonderful Broadway show, and some of the day-to-day experiences and just being in New York City as well. I felt really inspired, both to move to the East Coast, which was something I had intentions on prior, being from the Midwest, leaving the West Coast for a while. I felt like a natural progression. But I felt like this was really a community that was almost pre-built for me. And I was like, this is definitely another natural step for me to take. And it was just very transformational overall, and a really great time I could spend with my cohort. Because obviously I spent a ton of time with Carina in person, but I hadn't really had the chance to bond and connect with Aura and Sierra as much. So it was a really, really treasured experience for me. Moving on to the second half of my fellowship, weeks 7 through 12, during the second stretch of the fellowship, I focused on the responsibilities I had toward my other project goals and objectives, with the attempt being on licensing outreach to local and regional police departments for Police Activities League programs, PAL programs. Additionally, I found some solutions for the need for structure and some communications and organizational support as listed in my key deliverables. So at the bottom, you can see 2 new communication methods to be identified. Those were Slack and Asana. We started to go forward with Slack, and we ran a trial. I created some of the channels based off some of the hierarchy and organization that we had within FLIA's Slack channels. And it felt a really great experience, a great trial that I feel like CamPlay would really impact them long term. And I feel like it was a really great resource that I could uncover using my experiences through FLIA. At the top left here, we can see an example of an email script I created. I made 3 email scripts and 2 phone scripts for cold calls and cold emails for licensing outreach, as well as at the bottom, some of the contacts that we would use for those email and phone scripts. And that's how I accomplished some of those key deliverables as well. And this was a part that I really felt new to experiencing. My prior experiences within even the first half of the fellowship, and before that, it felt like it was so beyond me and such a new skill. So I felt really grateful to be learning these aspects of just being within the licensing role, as well as just a corporate role where I was like, how do people make this stuff happen? How do they make partnerships happen? And it just felt like a really neat behind the scenes look at how nonprofits really work together to make things happen, as well as just communities in general. So for my key deliverables, overall intermixed with main project work and accomplishing deliverables restated below, was plenty of partner work. So for example, programming. A huge part of CamPlay's mission with delivering that within our local communities. So for me personally, every Monday night, I would head out to Crestry Elementary, which is just like a couple blocks down from my house, actually. And I'll be helping out with check-in and delivering some of the donated meals to our students and participants and organizing. Last week, I'd actually organized some dance costumes because right now we're in basketball and dance season. And it was really great to constantly and consistently interact with some of our participants and really see how our impact was so exponential and how that would continually increase over time. And here you can also see an example of some of the interview and testimonial questions from a survey that I'm going to possibly create soon to accomplish another key deliverable, lots of project objectives to complete. And you see another example of some of the Courage program stuff I did earlier. Like I said, I did some opportunity editing, but this is for the Courage side of things with our special needs youth. And with this, I did floor hockey, group fitness, and soccer, I believe, and volleyball. With an opportunity, I did some other sports as well, baseball, basketball, and soccer and volleyball. And you can see at the bottom, there's some adaptations that go along with the Courage program. So it was, once again, it's really great and crazy to see all these behind the scenes actions being can play, to see how are they impacting our youth, how does the community react to this? And this is why we can raise so much money, because people really want to see this stuff in their community. And it's so grateful to be a part of something that's so huge and so impactful. So post-fellowship, I am really excited to say that I will be continuing on with Future Leaders in Action in a different role, being a sustainability environmental internship. And then I actually just got my official grades back, and I will be graduating from Arizona State University soon. And hopefully after my internship and some more experience, I will be able to relocate, so hopefully to Philadelphia, but I'm also hoping maybe I can work something out with New York City and having a long-term career and impact in the environmental sustainability and protection industry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Hasija. I really appreciated your lovely presentation. Does anybody have any feedback or notes, questions for Hasija?
I guess I can start again, but yeah, just wanted to jump in and say that you really brought a lot to our organization. This was not a small project that we put on your plate, and as you can see, it's something that we've got to continue to work on. But all the time and work that you put in really moved us a very long ways. And so when it comes to our evaluation, when it comes to the curriculum, when it comes to our communications and getting this out to other people, I'm glad you brought up the impact that being at programming had on you, and how that helped you understand what you were doing is impactful, and how if we were getting this into other communities, how that could be impactful to them. So I'm glad that you found that helpful in the fellowship. That's one thing that we kind of weighed, like, yeah, maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. And so I'm glad that was something that you found a lot of value in, and we certainly found a lot of value in having you there and being able to connect with our participants and making a difference in their lives. So this is this is very important to what we do, and we certainly appreciate everything that you gave us over the course of this term to make it happen. So thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. And thank you again, Hasija. It's been really a pleasure to get to know you and work with you. And I'm excited to continue to work together with your focus on helping us sort of broaden our work in terms of protecting the environment, which is one of our focus areas. So really excited and looking forward to that. Okay, so we have our last presentation slated to come up, and that is Sierra, who has been working with Navigate to the Maze to Achievement. So I'm passing the mic along to you, Sierra.
Thank you, Melly. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Start it from the beginning. Let's see, and then this is up. Okay. All right, well, thank you, Melly, again for passing the mic to me. As the other fellows have mentioned, it's definitely an honor to be here, to see some familiar faces and some new faces here. So just excited for this opportunity to basically showcase what I've been working on and just finishing everything up, as next week is our last week. So my name is Sierra Cole, and as Millie mentioned, I worked alongside Allison Shillingford, who is the founder and executive director of Navigate the Maze to Achievement, and I was their strategic communication fellow. And so here's a little bit about my professional journey pre-fellowship. And so my first college experience, meaning where I started, was at Raritan Valley Community College. That's where I earned my associate's degree in communications. Interestingly enough, I did not want to start in communications. It's always been just at the back burner. Family members saying, hey, you should go into communications, you should be a reporter, do something with writing. I was like, no, I really just feel like I'm interested in like biology or nutrition. And so nutrition became my first major. And I got the science part done, or, well, but it was like, when it came time for the math, I'm like, I don't know if this is gelling me quite right. And so community college was not my first choice, but I felt like looking back, it was definitely an amazing choice to kickstart my college experience. I remember just going to the computer lab and just enjoying my lunch and saying, okay, I've got to figure out who Sierra is, which is both personally and professionally. This is a time where I was like 18, 17, 18. So it wasn't an easy task. And so I remember my advisor and a few friends saying, maybe you really should look into communications. I'm like, okay, this time it's not my family. These are friends and other people who think it's a great idea. So quickly, I noticed that, it just became a knack. My grades definitely went up, not that they were bad before, but just really took off, where I felt like, okay, this is good. I think I found my niche. And so once I claimed communications as my degree, I decided to transfer to Montclair State University. And so that's where I earned my bachelor's degree in public relations. And so this is where you can see the picture there, that I was really happy that I graduated with my associates, and now it's like on to the bachelor's degree. I was a transfer student for the first time. And then there pictured is me and my dad. It was a very humbling experience in that, I did the thing of, getting accepted into a community college. I finished it to completion. And then now it was like the other half of now getting my BA. And so it was definitely a great experience also through COVID-19 that I was able to accomplish this. So it was a great experience. My first internship experience, was definitely when I was at community college, figuring out communications, and my career advisor said, this is great. You should go into nonprofit. This seems like this is something you want to do. So that was the kickstart. And I was like, nonprofit, I don't know. And having parents who are all about corporate, this was like a different playing field. So the fact that it really spoke to my interest very early on was extremely exciting. And then my second internship was at PTC Therapeutics, where I worked in corporate communications. So that was my exposure into internal and external communication that I thought was really interesting. And then my two of my previous job experiences, where I worked for the first time as an assistant account executive at Zeno Healthcare Agency. That was the first time I ever did agency work. So first time for many things. And then my first on-campus job at Montclair State University as a social media coordinator. And so this is more or less the timeline. As I mentioned, nutrition was the first go-to, and then it became communications and public relations. So once I got the communication part down, it was like, okay, it's a bit broad. We got to get more specific. Then I was like, public relations makes sense. I could have did marketing, but I love working with people. I love building relationships. And so PR just was a natural fit for me. And so you could see this is where I was a student commencement speaker for Raritan Valley Community College. That was one of my proudest achievements, that I had a good GPA, but that they also saw that I could really lead and become one of the student speakers. And then there's also my graduation picture from Montclair State University. So it was a very exciting time frame, but also that I won the Excellence in PR Award from the PR professors. That was a very competitive award as well. A lot of my peers were also like, I hope to get this award. So it was really an honor that I received that as well. And then now onto the project overview and scope of Navigate the Maze to Achievement. So NTMA basically is a nonprofit organization that focuses on an educational and enrichment program that prepares and supports young Black and Latino NYC students for specialized high schools and beyond. And what's really interesting about them is that they're all about how do we get students involved in specialized high schools, and not just any students, but the students that are in marginalized communities involved in those schools, but then also beyond, which is they're tackling both the social and the academic approach to it. And their audience are, of course, Black and Latino youth from 7th to 12th grade, Black and Latino parents, different funders, partners, and the local community. Their goal, like I mentioned, is to get them into these specialized high schools and to support them with their journey beyond. And so I just wanted to quickly show this. I hope you can see, but this was very, it resonated with me because I didn't mention it here, but for high school, when I moved out here, which I'm based in New Jersey, by the way, I always wanted to go to not a specialized high school, but a magnet high school. And it's very competitive. So the high school I actually ended up going to for my freshman year was a specialized high school, Bard. And this time it was in New Jersey, not New York. And so this is also why it was special. So this is a picture of me when I was a freshman there. So that was really cool. That was, you know, kind of after the braces and everything like that. So when I looked at a lot of these students, I thought back to my freshman year of like, wow, like we are successful, we are potential as you know, the many of the few, like the few of the many, like we have the potential to be successful despite what we look like and where we come from. And so it was really amazing to have that shared experience. And so my role was definitely as a strategic communication fellow was to really develop the strategic communication plan. They did not have one developed or implemented. And so this was a great opportunity for me to be able to use that as a foundation, basically develop, really gut out a lot of the project work that they, you know, Allison was maybe thinking of and it didn't happen. And so it was really great to work with her in a very intimate way where it was just me and her. And I say this to Millie and to Allison all the time, this could not be a better marriage in terms of our connection together, not just with my specialized high school experience, but the fact that I'm also right now a current grad student at University of Delaware, earning my master's degree in strategic communications. And so it's been a nice, I guess, you know, bleeding or marriage or, you know, whatever you want to call it, intersection between what I've been learning firsthand and then what I'm bringing to the table. And so anytime Allison was like, I, you know, want to do this or I want to do that, I'm like, great, I just learned about it from communication research. Let's do a data visualization. Let's do this communication plan. Let's do some internal and external communication. Let's do some qualitative and quantitative data. And so it was really amazing to take what I've learned and apply it here. And so also it was about increasing the digital presence as well, which you'll see I will continue to speak about. And so this is another part of the project overview. You can see these are the press release templates that I have created in Canva, but I've also done it in Google and Word doc. Allison knows I'm big on doing batches and samples so that I can see what she likes and also can have that with the end in mind. Every meeting was like, here, Allison, here's this for the end in mind, so that she always has things now and for the later. And so I was really supporting the communication plan, getting the social media handles up. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter were the main ones. Currently, right now, Instagram is booming right now. You'll see, you know, some of the followers and following we have. I definitely helped with the newsletters and the blog articles as well. The importance of this project is that not only was it important for me, you know, coming in as a fellow and supporting Allison, but also the impact that it is having at a greater level. As you can see the statistic here, it really is really important that we each time we bring in, you know, different cohorts, and also my responsibility as the fellow that we are changing the stereotype, we are changing the outlook on the statistic, and we are making it that much better and the resources accessible for students. And so this is just a look at, like I said, the press releases that I worked on using Canva. That was awesome to introduce Allison to some new tools that, you know, maybe she was aware of and didn't know how to use, but also for me to be able to explore and use the, you know, different digital PR and social media playground as just a way to, you know, communicate and learn something new. And so on a high level, the main accomplishments that I'm really proud of here, I broke it down in internal, external, and overall communication strategies, which were definitely developing an array of communication materials using different tools like Asana, Monday, different content calendars, using Canva, providing, like I said, different samples for what Allison needs and doesn't need and will hopefully need. And then thinking about the whole, you know, plethora of the different handles and then the different posts that went with those handles. Currently, right now, I am finishing out developing the NTMA 2022 pitch deck. I have never done one before. For me, it's been so exciting with this experience that every internship or job I've had before this, I've seen directors, I've seen managers be like, okay, team, we're going to do a pitch deck. We're going to do this. And I'm just like at the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I want to get a taste of what this is and work my way there. So the fact that I think Millie knows and Allison knows, I was like, throw me a bone and I want to catch it. I want to be able to have that opportunity to really learn and really get my hands dirty. And I feel like with this opportunity, I, you know, really saw the fullest and was able to really sink my teeth in a lot of things that I did, but also didn't know how to do. And then helping Allison with the website as well. So like I said, really gutting out a lot of things inside and bringing that out externally, from the handles to the website to working with different media outlets. Also media monitoring, that was so exciting, you know, being able to use Google Alerts and being able to, you know what's trending, what's in the media landscape about Black and Latino youth, and being able to use both my PR, my social media, and communication skills to really leverage here. And so it was exciting to do some work for National Giving Tuesday through the survey. And then here's just one of the posts that I did as an Instagram post talking about recruitment, which will continue to be going for Navigate the Maze to Achievement. And so it was just awesome to really bring food for thought and really just give some ideas in terms of building out the communication plan and seeing it move forward. And then long-term, this is one of my favorites in thinking about how I want to see Navigate the Maze to Achievement, not just now, but moving forward beyond me being here. And so I developed these 3 key parts, which is a communication archive, I'm calling it, internal and external. Internally meaning it's a Google Drive and a spreadsheet that houses all the materials. So thinking about how do we want to post about students and achievements. Like, I'm very proud right now, and I'm sure Allison is, Amadi, who is one of the part of the cohort students, he just received a 5-year scholarship, an MBA scholarship from Hampton University. And so right away, I'm like, we've got to have some post samples ready, get these batches ready, because the more student achievements and the more organizational achievements we have, the more you want to get templates and things ready. And so it's so important from a communication perspective that, you know, photos, different media, different outlets that you want to reach out, all of that is housed so that the organization can take things internally and bring it out externally. So that was my big focus there. And then developing a potential partnership and collaboration spreadsheet. So my thinking was a lot about how can we just not extend the relationship to just New York only? There are other cities and other states that are doing the same thing. Let's connect with them. Let's grow with them on Instagram, Facebook. Let's also grow with them on campaigns and projects that we can do. And so that was part of that Excel spreadsheet I developed. And then lastly, the NTMA networking and community app that I've developed, mainly the infrastructure using Jotform. And so that is all about, outside of email and phone calls, how can, you know, Allison, representing NTMA as the founder and director, work along with the staff, the parents, and the students? How can all of these folks stay connected aside from the traditional phone and email, so that updated, you know, updates, announcements, events, all of that communication is all synced in one place? And so that was kind of my thinking in developing that there. And then here are some supporting visuals, as I mentioned. This is the Twitter here. This is the Instagram. Here are some of the Giving Day posts that I did on Instagram to get folks involved in donating. I'm happy to say some of my family and friends have donated to the organization, so super excited about that. And then other visuals where I helped with the one pager that's located here. Me and Allison worked very closely on that. That was our first collaborative project, so super proud about that. And then here is the National Giving Day survey form. This was a form of quantitative data that we did to really get the Navigate the Maze to Achievement community involved. And then lastly, for my future plans and goals, it is definitely, of course, to finish and see my earning my master's degree. That's at the top priority right now, which I'll graduate May 2024. And then that for me is really to work towards becoming a communication manager. I would love to become a communication specialist first, then work my way up to becoming a manager, and then become a communication director. And then I still want to continue to work in nonprofit in the social sector. I feel like I found my home away from home that is really exciting to me. It is rewarding and the impact that I can have. And so that's my space and the place I want to work in. And then I would love to launch my own public relations firm / small business. I came up with the name Purposeful Planning and Creatives. And so it's in the works right now, but really hoping to really launch it and work with other nonprofits because that's something I'm really passionate about, and really have it be this place where all of my skills, all of my experiences, all of my personal interests are invested in one thing where I can help invest in others. And then lastly, it is to, in another way, continue my education to earn my PhD, and what I'm still figuring out, but happy to figure that out. And also to become a professor or a mentor, maybe at an HBC university or at a local community college, or become a mentor at different high schools and colleges. And then lastly, I want to say thank you so much to FLIA, meaning all of you here, not here. I know my family physically isn't on this Zoom, but they're physically in my house. I want to say thank you to them, because I feel like there's been times where, I just have been super focused and couldn't always give them the attention that they needed. My boyfriend as well. I'm just so appreciative for their love and support. I'm appreciative for all of the support. I wasn't expecting to have a lot of coaches and a lot of my peers really support me through this experience. And of course, a big thanks to Allison. Thank you so much. You have been a huge support from the very beginning. We had an interview. I knew that there was something there. And I said it to Millie, I feel like out of all my mentors, you have resonated with me the most, because you have pushed me in such positive ways to really dig deep and to really have me work in my field and really just be there for me in a lot of different ways. So I couldn't be more happy and more grateful for this experience overall. If anybody wants to connect with me on LinkedIn and just learn more about my professional journey, I'm happy to put the link to my LinkedIn in the chat. But thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sierra, for closing off our event today with such a wonderful presentation. These have been some of the best presentations I've been able to, be a part of. And so, it's just been an incredible fall. Thank you all for making it so. And I am, looking forward to continuing to support these fellows. And I know that everyone who is sharing space with us today feels the same. So thank you all.
Can I say a quick word about Sierra?
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry, Allison. Yes,
It's okay. I know we're on the time. I was like, okay, let me.
No worries. Please.
So at Navigate the Maze to Achievement in Operations, we are a team of one. I was a team of one. And when Sierra came in, she was amazing. I could just say, okay, I don't know how much supervision I'm gonna be able to give you, but here's the project. And she would come back and I would give her my notes and she would take them and she would make it great and come back. And like with the pitch deck, I was like, I don't know what to tell you about the pitch deck. Look up one, Google one. And we looked at one and she found one. I said, I love this. This is it. So she's working on that. And she's like, okay, I got it. I was like, okay. So it's been very amazing. She's really been a big help. Now we actually are getting our story out there. Before, I'm so busy in the projects, the programming side, that I don't actually am able to give the operations side of the attention it needs. And these last weeks, Sierra really helped us with getting our story out there and coming up with some amazing ideas like the app. Like I was like, oh my gosh, never thought about that. And I'm like, she has a lot of big ideas. I was like, okay, I don't know when I'm going to get to that, but send it to me and I'm going to make it happen. But it was really amazing to work with her. So thank you, Sierra.
Thank you, Allison, for your kind words. Greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Allison. I know, Kirsten, you also wanted to share a few words.
Yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to all the fellows for finishing your fellowship. I had such an amazing time meeting you in person in November, but also just hearing your presentations. It's always one of the highlights for me to go to the presentations to see all of the hard work. And I hope that you all keep it because you all did so much work over 3 months, and having done an internship that was 3 months over the summer, it is actually a really short period of time. And so the scope of what you've completed is truly amazing. So I hope that you keep that in mind as well. And just congratulations.
You can accomplish so much in 3 months. And I think we're all evidence of that in this room. So kudos to everyone. Happy Friday, all. Thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure, and I will be in touch soon. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
And congrats, fellows. Amazing job. You killed it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.